Alright, um, hello. This is my, this is going to be my guide for Rep Paladin. I, my name is Ale, but I go by Big D's in game, or Big DZ, whichever one. And I've been playing Rep Paladin for, well, it'll be 2 seasons now. I, I started playing Arena back in Season 1, and I was Duelist. And then in Season 2, I hit Glad for the first time ever, right here. And Duelist in Season 1 was my highest. And now the goal is to hit rank 1, or at least 2800. So you should look out for that on the ladder. But anyway, I wanted to make this Rep Paladin guide because I haven't really seen too many Rep Paladin guides, and I think I'm qualified enough to talk about it. But anyway, let's get started. First thing that I think I'm going to go over is probably the talents. I mean, they're pretty simple, but there are times where you're going to want to change them depending on the comp that you play, or if you're Kyrian, which I don't really recommend people to play Kyrian since Double Legendary is out, but if you want to play Kyrian before Double Legendary is out, then that's completely fine. You'll still climb. It's just, once they are out, Necrolord will scale immensely over Kyrian. It's not even close. So, first row is Zeal, pretty much always. You never want to switch this out. It's really good. Really, really good. Blade of Wrath, same as always. Fist of Justice. The only time I would ever switch this out is if you're like playing with a Holy Paladin or a healer that isn't a priest. Well, actually, I play Cupid, not Red Warrior. So we play Red Paladin, Hunter, Priest. And I played with a Paladin when we started because we didn't have our healer, but if you do play with a Paladin, you want to get Blinding Light, and sometimes you might even want to go Blinding Light into like Windwalker Monk to blind his images and stuff. It's up to you, but Fist of Justice is just really nice because you'll be able to stun and then spend Holy Power, and then it'll just be off cooldown by the time that your hunter is ready to trap. And I guess that's if you play Cupid, but if you don't play Cupid, then that doesn't apply to you. So this is pretty much the only row where you're going to be switching stuff out constantly. Eye for an eye. You're going to want to take it against double melee. And like jungle, turbo, TSG, The Walking Dead, comps like that, where like you're going to be taking a lot of physical damage. You're going to want Eye for an Eye rather than Unbreakable Spirit. But Unbreakable Spirit is so good. If there's just one melee, never take Eye for an Eye. Next is Divine Purpose. This is kind of a new one. I played Kyrian back in Season 2 back in Season 2 overall. And then after I hit Glad, I switched over to Necrolord. And I just want to say, Divine Purpose is really good for Necro, just because of that free Holy Power spender that you get to use. It's crazy. I mean, you just saw it there, right? Like I built up 3 Holy Power with. I'm building up 5 now, but I had 3, and I just used this. And then if you get a Divine Purpose proc, you just get to use another one, and then you're hitting really, really hard, really fast, basically. If you're Kyrian, though, you take Seraphim. And I guess I'll go over why I like Necro so much more, even before Double Legendary. Healing Hands. This is a no-brainer. You don't really want anything else. Selfless Healers. Like, it's not good right now. It's not as good as I think as it used to be back in other expansions where you could just like get an instant flash of light and you were like, oh, this is really good, but it's not good anymore. You want the Word of Glories. They can hit really large. And lastly, Sanctified Wrath instead of Final Reckoning. But if you are Kyrian, you're gonna want Final Reckoning, Seraphim. So if you're Kyrian, you're usually gonna look like this. If you're Necro like me, you're usually gonna look like this. Or I'm changing these two out. Blessing of Sanctuary. There's like very little times where you won't want to run this. I'd say like into like at least Shaman, Mage, maybe you don't want to run it, but they usually run with Holy Paladins, and you want Blessing of Sanctuary to Holy Paladin. So Blessing of Sanctuary is like always take. It's just too good, too good. Aura of Reckoning for me is the second always take. I never switch Aura of Reckoning out. I'd rather switch this out before I switch Aura of Reckoning. Aura of Reckoning is like Wings procs are so strong, especially with Necro, because you'll get like a random Wings proc and then you'll have a Vanquisher's Hammer and you're just, you're just pumping. Imagine me, like with a Wings proc, just hitting people. Boom, boom. Another one. Boom. And then your Sanctified Wrath is hitting them. It's... And then you hit for like 8k autos once at 50 stacks. So there's that. And then lastly, this is the one that I switch out a lot. Against mages, any team with a mage, I will always take Unbound Freedom. Every time. Because it is so nice to just be able to run at mages with 30% or their partner and not get spell stealed or purged or anything like that. And when you don't have it, it's like you use it and then you have to cancel it immediately. Like instantly. You don't even know. It feels really bad to not play this into mages. Then you have Luminescence. This is where you go into melee cleaves or comps like Shadow Priest Warrior. You could go this. You could also go this if you want the movement speed and the Unbound Freedom off global if you use it on yourself, that type of stuff. But Luminescence, really nice. The 4% increased damage is like you always you see it, right? And then like you run this probably, but you can also run that. Let me see, Vengeance Aura. I think Vengeance Aura is like a 2s thing. You don't really want to go Vengeance Aura unless come on, Kevin, really? You don't really want to go Vengeance Aura unless you're like in 2s, because like you're just missing out on like either 4% damage or an Undispellable Freedom, 30% movement speed buff. It's like it's too good to give up any of these two for this. You never go to Retribution. So this is funny. If you're carrying, this is gonna be like your usual one, right? So you're a Lawbringer, and then you're gonna use Judgment. They're gonna get that. Carrying, what it makes you do is it makes you want to like split up your judgments, right? I mean, you don't have to, but let's say your go gets delayed, and you like judgment somebody else, they get Lawbringer, and then let's say you're going this guy, and you pop and you use all your shit, Final Reckoning, Seraphim, all that stuff. This is usually where I have Seraphim, so that's why I clicked it. The second person is gonna be taking so much damage, and it's like all because of Lawbringer. Because your judgments they just hit so hard. You can go this in 2s. I don't really go this in 3s, but it is strong if you're like sticking on one target. Like it will be strong. I think it was stronger with Carrion, in my opinion, but it's not bad at all. Jurisdiction, I never go this in 3s, just 2s. Law and Order, I never go this in 3s, just in 2s. In 2s you could do something like this. Or you can do something like this. You can switch it up like a lot. Law and Order is really nice when you you get this, and it's like when you use your Blade of Wrath, Blade of Justice, it applies Hand of Hindrance, and it just allows you to connect the targets more often, which it's nice, but it's not needed, But there's that. And lastly, is one of the strongest the PvP talents that they have given Red Paladins, I think, ever. Because holy shit. I'm going to show clips, but against jungle, right? If you're not CC'd and your healer gets like stunned, well, you can just sank him, right? You can just sank him. But like on a pet stun or bash or whatever. But also, if they do get trapped, because you don't get the time to get sank or they're behind a pillar or something, and the hunter is like, let's say this is the hunter, right? He just finished trapping your healer, and you judgment him. That judgment against hunters, 90% of the time, 90, it will dispel a trap. An 8-second trap just gone. You could imagine how OP that is, right? Like it's just this talent into jungle, a must, or any hunter team. Honestly, You don't need it into Marksman Hunter. Into Marksman Hunter, I'd rather do this. Or this. But if it's jungle, I'd take it anyway, because they're probably going to be going for traps, not just a scatter trap. And scatter trap, it's like you can't really do much about scatter, so. But yeah, that's it for talents. I don't really want to make this like a skill cap video, more like just important game stuff, you know, tips, stuff like that, rotation. But if you're Horde, you want to be Torn, you could be whatever you want, but I'm saying like I'm pretty sure once you're like 28, which is going to be my goal for this season, the races start mattering, and the Torn health buff and War Stomp, War Stomp, both of these are just so nice. Crit damage and healing. I mean, it's not crazy, but it might save you on one game ever. Like, let's say that increased healing like healed me for like one word glory for like 20k instead of like 19k or something like that, right? 18,500. It's the small things that matter later on. But that's it for talents. I go on forever about those, but we'll move on. That was talents. And let's see rotation. So for rotation, there's like a couple things you can do. There's obviously your burst one and your usual rotation that you're going to be doing when you don't have wings, but let me show you. So if you have Fleshcraft, use it. Even if it gets interrupted, honestly, it's worth using because of the mastery buff. The mastery buff is like, I went from 41% mastery to 46%. It's that small amount of damage that could probably help you kill somebody. So, when you're bursting, what you're going to want to do is, if you're far, if you can't get up to them, right, you're going to want to Judgment. And then when you're close, you're going to want to Blade of Justice. And then here, you could either use, well, I got a proc here, but don't even look at that. You want to use procs, but whatever. So you can either use both hammers, or you can do like one Crusader Strike into a hammer. But whatever. So let's just say you do that. You do Judgment, Blade of Justice, 2 Vanquish's Hammer. You pop wings instantly. Boom. Judgment. Templar's Verdict. Wake of Ashes. Templars. And I took too long to get my last one off, but obviously you would be doing this like very fast so that your procs don't fall off or anything. And then you want to be using your every proc you get. You see, I'm still bursting here, like, and I got a Divine Purpose proc, another one. Your damage is going to be insane, basically. So when you're bursting, you want to make sure that you get to 5, just because it'll be that edge that you need to just get your Templar's Verdict off like that, right? Rather than if you're at 3, and then let's say I had one of these, or like 4, right? An awkward number, and I didn't have one of these procs, it'd be like, oh shit, now I have to build it up with Crusader Strikes. And then go again. Like, whereas if you're on 5, I just got another proc, whatever. Also, I'll talk about that later. But yeah, if you're at 5, without that Divine Purpose proc, man, I just got a Judgment. Boom. Went to another one. Alright, what I was gonna say is, you don't want to waste holy power spaces. So let's say I'm attacking, and I use Blade of Justice, Judgment, Hammer. You see, I got a proc here, Blade of Justice, but I'm not going to use Blade of Justice here because I'm only missing 1 holy power. We're Crusader Strike. Save that. And then we're going to use it. And then another Judgment. And then we're into this. Templar's Verdict, into Crusader Strike, into Templar's Verdict, into Crusader Strike, into another Blade of Justice, into Crusader Strike, to Templar's Verdict, into Wake of Ashes, Templar's Verdict, Judgment. You know, we got a proc there. Hammer, Crusader Strike, boom, Verdict, Crusader Strike, Verdict, Blade of Justice, Judgment. Sometimes there are times where just building up 3 holy power is fine. If like you think you're gonna kill somebody, it's fine. But usually what you want to do is you would want to build up 5 so it's just smoother for you. But there's times where you just like don't care. You just want to get that out. That's completely fine. For your regular rotation, I would say you want to just be using your procs on cooldown, right? So let's say here, proc, Templars. I'm hammering him here. Yeah, don't be scared to use hammer on your normal rotation, because it's just added damage that you need. So it's like, even if you use both hammers, it's okay. Right, wings is a 2-minute cooldown. They'll be back up by that time. Just try not to use them when you know you're about to burst. But yeah, so when you're bursting, you know, 5. Actually, I should wait for my vanquish's hammer. Okay, let's get to that. Okay, so now that I have both hammers, Judgment, Blade, both hammers. You want to make sure you have everything ready. Your hunter says he's good to go. You hodge, wings, bursting. Bursting so hard. Look at that. I actually just got super lucky there, but when you're bursting, building up to 5 honestly isn't really necessary. Like, when you're bursting, you just want to get as many Templars verdicts as you can out on the target. In my opinion, I think that is the best course of action. Then once your wings are over, you're not going to be doing as much damage, but you can still pump, right? And then you're like, I don't have damage, and then you do. You hit them for like 20k. Defensively, you're going to be coordinating with your healer, but BM Shield, always a great option. Shields usually hit people for like 28k. Sometimes some classes will burst you through BM Shield, even though it is like an extra 18k plus 35k. Let's see, like 53k. I think that's right. You're gonna die through that sometimes. I promise you, you will. So, BM Shield. If you have to trinket BM Shield, that's fine. You don't want to have to bubble soon after. So, always think, like, if you're in a bomb and they're busting on you and it's blades and it's like a shackle and mind games, just bubble that. Like, don't try to trinket BM Shield, any of that. Like, you're gonna die, or you're just gonna have to use bubble and trinket, and then definitely dead. For the gates, obviously use Fleshcraft. Defensively, I'd say you could just use like the regular Bop and like Bop. You don't sack yourself, but I still have this one here for if I'm playing with like randoms and I don't feel like adding them to my macros. Freedom. For all your blessings, you're gonna want macros. So I guess we'll move on to that. For macros, I have a lot, but this is a Final Reckoning macro. For Kieran, like I said, I have some for my healers. Blessing of Protection for healer, and then Blessing of Sanctuary for healer. I have them right here. Mine's on Shift 2, and then Control mouse button 8. And then I have my sack ones and all that, so I have my healer one on Control mouse button 9, and then Shift 3 for my DPS. You're always going to want 2 extra ones, right? So, you see Freedom. I have an extra one for my healer, extra one for my DPS. I have a focus kick. I don't have shift 1, 2, 3 for kick or anything like that, because you're a paladin. You're gonna see a warlock casting Destro Bolt 50 yards away, and you're not gonna be able to kick that. So don't even worry about that. If you die, you die. My auras, pretty much you always play Devotion Aura. If you're chasing somebody around a pillar, yeah, you're gonna want to go Crusader. I don't even have Crusader Aura bound, so. Word of Glory, very important macro. Healer, DPS. And then Cleanse Toxins, very important one. Not as important as the other ones, but it is important because you can dispel Devouring Plague, poisons from Assassination Rogues. I can't really think of another one. It's Disease and Poison, so whatever you can think of. Agony, I think you can dispel. I don't really remember. Yeah, That's it for macros, really. There's not really much to talk about. I have a focus Hodge for focus targets, obviously. If your hunter can't stun them, sometimes you are going to have to throw the Hodge out, right? And that's perfectly fine. I have focus judgment. Like I said, for junglers, when you're running the judgments of the pure talent, you're just going to want to, you have a different target here, but you're going to be want to judgmenting the hunter if he gets traps. It's so that you don't have to switch targets and you can still like DPS, but I'm just DPSing him, but trapped, got you, easy. I would say that's it. Sank, sack, bop, freedom, focus Hodge, word of glory, stuff like that. It's my macros. And my final reckoning when I was carrying, which is still here. And we'll keep moving on. So, I think, I'm trying to think what else I need. Okay, so I guess some general tips to give you guys is you're going to struggle. If you're playing Cupid, I don't really know about Red War, right? Or other Red Paladin teams. I mainly play Cupid. I have thousands of games in Cupid by now. Should be. You're going to struggle into spell cleaves. If they play really good, you're going to struggle into them. As a Red Paladin, playing against Shadow Priest, Ellie Shamans, Mages, Boomies, they're all gonna be fucking, they're all gonna be screwing you over. Like, it's really not nice playing against spell cleaves as a Red Paladin. It doesn't feel too good. So I would say keep your positioning against spell cleaves. If you know you got damage, fucking try to run at them. They slow you, freedom. If you're having trouble getting to them still after freedom, use your steed. Use your buttons. Don't use them stupidly though. When you're there, you're in and out, and you're in and you're out. I swear, because you're gonna be bursting. Somebody's gonna trigger by now, or they're gonna be dead, right? But against spell cleaves, I really gotta say, if you're caught in the open for too long, unless you're being really aggressive on purpose and you know what you're doing, then I would say you're gonna die. Probably 60% of the time. If you're being really aggressive and they're still getting away from you, they're still able to cast freely, like a warlock, he ports and then he portals and then he's running away from you. I would say try to try to avoid that damage if you can. It's not fun really playing into that. Against melee cleaves, you're usually going to be playing BM Hunter, so that's not a problem. But my Hunter, he's a little special, and he wants to play survival, which is going to be really good, double legendary, but for right now, BM is still better. Anyway, you do really well into melee cleaves just because Red Paladins have a lot of survivability. There's times where you're obviously just going to get one shot, right? But it's it's really easy playing into melee cleaves because you can hit them. If you can hit them, you can build holy power, and if you can build holy power, you can heal, you can do damage, you can, you know what I mean. So there's that. Melee cleaves that you do really well into, I'd say Red War if they don't one-shot you, because you're going to be better than the Red Paladins after watching this guide. Turbo is not as hard. It's just Shamans have a lot of healing, so getting past that is annoying. Demon Hunter DK, not bad. Monks, you love seeing monks and Red Paladins, you love seeing them because they just flop, right? They don't really know how to play their class. they just die. It's an RMP. It's kind of like a 50-50 to RMP. If the RMP is really good, they're gonna dog you, but if you're not bad, they're not bad. It's gonna be like, oh shit, like I sank the kidney. You know, bopped the blind. I trinketed BM shield out of bomb. Like you control that game. You know, against RP if they go you. If they go your hunter, 9 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times you will lose if your hunter is like mine. But yeah, jungle. I already gave you the tips for jungle, and I think that's pretty much all you need. I don't know if I missed anything. If I missed anything, you could let me know. But if you have any questions, obviously I'll answer them in game or on the video, anywhere. I don't really know what else to talk about. Rotation, talents, macros, general tips. I think that's pretty much it. If you're playing Ret Warrior, yeah, you're you're gonna gain rating, right? But if you're playing comps that playing comp like Cupid as a rep Paladin, I think it'd be really beneficial for you to know these things, you know, because you're not just gonna be running in and using your buttons randomly on them. You're gonna be strategically thinking about your buttons, even though sometimes you will turn around and say you're dead because you're a rep Paladin. You have that option. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, anything else, you can just let me know, and I'll respond. But I hope you enjoy my Ret Paladin guide video. I probably don't have as many qualifications as someone like Vanguard's, but the good thing is that Vanguard's doesn't make Ret Paladin videos, at least guides. So yeah, take it as you will. You know, maybe you'll learn something, maybe you won't. Tell me if you hated it or not. But yeah, see you in the next one.